Welcome to the Woolpack podcast. For more information and ways you can be a part of what we're doing here, please visit our website. Okay, so I know it has been a while since the podcast has had any updates, but I have taken a break, gotten some things organized, gotten some good feedback, so hopefully going forward it should be really good. And I think I have a few interesting things to share today. Hopefully they are interesting. So, should be Proverbs 3, verses 5 to 6, I think also verse 7, I think is one of the most well-known proverbs, except for all the ones that talk about, being a fool. I think those might be even more well-known. But this passage, I feel like most people, especially if you grew up in the church, you probably are familiar with this, maybe even know it by heart. But we tend to, I think it's one of those verses where we don't really slow down and really consider it. So I'm just going to read it really quick. I'm reading in the ESV version. It says, "Trust in the Lord with all your heart, and do not lean on your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge him, and he will make straight your paths. Be not wise in your own eyes. Fear the Lord and turn away from evil. It will be healing to your flesh and refreshment to your bones." And I really honestly think we don't, slow down and really let that passage really sink in what it means and what it's saying. We're trusting in the Lord. We're relying on him, not what we know. And, we're admitting we don't know everything, so we're relying on his understanding. We're acknowledging him in everything we do. We're not being wise in our own eyes. We're fearing him. We're turning away from evil. There's just so much there, and I encourage you to just read it and slow down and really just listen and really see and think about what it's saying. For the past 3 weeks, I have been trying to finish up painting a bookcase, and I finally was able to finish painting it. The reason it took so long is because we've been having very humid weather here. And I will just give you a little piece of advice. If you ever want to learn patience, then try painting something and waiting for it to dry and cure in humid weather. You will either go nuts and throw the thing out, or you will learn patience. But either way, I think that there are a lot of valuable lessons you will learn about yourself. And yeah, it can be a very interesting experience. I have been reading about near-death experiences, which I think for a lot of people there's a lot of questions and skepticism that comes with this, and I understand. I'm naturally a very skeptical person. Skepticism comes very naturally to me. But there's one book I want to recommend if you're interested in this topic or you want to just get started into it, looking into it. It's Imagine Heaven by John Burke, and it is one of the best books that I've read on this topic. I've read quite a few different books and articles and videos and stuff, and the thing I like about it is that as he's telling you these stories of people who have had these near-death experiences and what they've seen, he is also kind of in between giving studies on these things, quoting doctors and people who have done these studies, basically giving evidence and proofs that these are not, that these things are real. And it's really great because not only do you get to hear these stories, but you get to see the evidence alongside the stories as well. And I just really like that sort of balance between, just the evidence and the stories. And it's one of the best books, so definitely recommend it. It's Imagine Heaven by John Burke. Highly recommend it. Speaking of being naturally skeptical, if you are someone where skepticism just comes very naturally to you, very easily to you, and maybe that's, why kind of keeping you from God. Maybe you're just, you're kind of thinking, well, I can't come to God yet until I, get over the skepticism. I just want to let you know that God welcomes you and your skepticism. There's a part in Isaiah, I can't remember exactly what it is, but it's in Isaiah where he says, "Come, let us reason together." God is saying this. And then there's several places in the Bible where, God gives evidence to people. He, talks about gaining knowledge and, being reasonable, being, wise. And in fact, I was thinking about this the other day, and most places where when God tells people to trust in him, it's usually after he has given them all this evidence, or shown his glory, or shown his power to them. So it's never a blind trust. It's this, instead of saying like, trust me blindly, instead what he's saying is, I've just shown you that I'm trustworthy and reliable. I've just shown you all this evidence. So now you can trust me, so I'm asking you to trust me. It's that kind of trust. So just encourage you, reach out to God. And even if you're skeptical, just, reach out, and he will hear you, and he will answer you. And you don't have to let your skepticism keep you from him, or keep you from anything. Test things and, run to him. He's there. Okay, I looked it up. It's Isaiah 1:18, where he says, "Come now, let us reason together." I forgot it at the time when I was talking about that earlier, but I remembered it now. Look at me with my Bible knowledge, forgetting where verses are. But I did know it was in Isaiah, so I should get credit for that. I've been doing dog training lately, and it's been a very hectic but enjoyable kind of thing. You see a lot of the progress in these animals. You can see how far they've come. You can see that they are, learning the tricks, and learning, the different things you're teaching them, or behavioral things, whatever it is. But you also see that you have a long ways to go. And not to make this super deep or anything, but I think that is true for us. I really think it's a lot easier for us to see how far we have to go rather than how far we've come, whether it's with spiritual things, whether it's relationships, whether it's our character, even if it's just, something that we're trying to learn, figure out, maybe hobbies or different skills like that. It's so easy for us to see, wow, I have a long way to go. Wow, I have so much more to do, to get to this point, or to get here, to get there. But I just think some encouragement. I know it's difficult, but just try to reflect on how far you've come. Reflect on, where you were, and just see how far you've come, because it can be really encouraging, and it can, just help you, continue on, with how far you have to go. So there's some more encouragement for you. Okay, so this is kind of a controversial take, especially if you are a reader and you read books a lot. I really like physical books. I think most people, just enjoy physical books. However, I do see the appeal of having a Kindle or like an e-reader, because usually the books are cheaper, and you can store a lot of books on a small device. And well, yeah, I have no problem with having like a bunch of books around. It is appealing. So I'm not saying I love e-readers. I still prefer physical books. However, I am willing, I have used them in the past. I have at least, I think I read 2 books on it. But I'm not totally on the e-reader, team, I guess, and like fully in support of it. But I do see how it could be a lot better in a lot of ways, saving money. And so yeah, that's where I'm at with that. It's a very controversial thing. I understand. I know that many readers right now might be very upset, but like I said, I'm not fully on the e-reader train. I see the appeal. I see where it could be enticing. And I could see, yes, maybe using it occasionally, but not relying on it. Physical books will always be better, okay? Don't worry. Physical books are always going to be the best, and should always be your top priority anytime you're buying any book. Very important thing to remember. God loves you. I know this is cliche, we hear it a lot. Christians, we hear it a lot. People who are not Christians hear it a lot, and I think we can kind of be like, yeah, I know, but we don't really think about it. So here's something to help you really think about it. Creation. If you just take God in a very just general terms, he's all-knowing, he's all-powerful, he's outside of space-time, matter, energy, he's the creator, just those general terms, not adding any other stuff. Look at creation. He didn't have to make it this beautiful. He didn't have to make the grass green. He could have made it gray. He didn't have to make the stars shine. He didn't have to give us this many different flowers. He didn't have to give us this much, flavorful food. He didn't have to give each bird its own unique song or its own unique colors. He didn't have to give us beautiful scenery. He didn't have to give us any of this. He didn't have to give us love. He didn't have to give us, even things like pets or other people or relationships. He didn't have to do any of that, but he did. He made us a beautiful, beautiful home here on earth. He made this beautiful place with other people where we can have relationships with. He gave us skills, and he gave us just so much beauty. Why would he do that if he didn't love? Why? He wouldn't. He loves, and that's why he created this beautiful, beautiful place. Because not only did he want to give us some place to live, he could have given us some place to live, and it could have been really boring, dull, had just our basic needs, nothing fancy, nothing pretty. But he went a step further. He gave us a place to live, and he made it beautiful. He gave it song, life, colors, so many things. So if you're ever questioning if God loves you, look around. He gave you all of this. Why would he give you all of this if he didn't love you? He wouldn't. He only gave you all of this because he loves you. Thank you for listening to the Woolpack podcast. For more information and ways you can be part of the Woolpack and share your art, humanitarian, and academic gifts, please visit our website.